Good afternoon. My name is Martin Bölter, and I would like to further produce a video or show you and talk about a chapter in my book. It's part of the series An American Experience, and it is video number 7. It's called Customer Service. It starts on page 62. Excuse me. Now, customer service is a wide subject, and there's differences between Germany and the states where I live, Lawton, Oklahoma. I would like to go over that briefly. One major difference above all else, before I talk about anything else, or before I talk about any experiences of whatsoever kind, is punctuality. That is something which Germans, for better or worse, hold dear as far as keeping appointments is concerned. You cannot, in Germany, make a worse impression than showing not up for an appointment or being late for an appointment and not having a good reason. You cannot lose your reputation quite faster than not to show up for an appointment or show up an hour late for an appointment without any awesome legitimate reason. Can't do that. No matter what job I had in Germany, I was mainly a tour bus driver, painter, some business adventures here and there, but be that as it may, no matter what activities you are engaged in, no matter what jobs you have, you cannot be late for an appointment. That is very much frowned upon. You can't do that. Most often you're done. Simply. That's, where do we go from here as far as our business relationship is concerned, our proposed business transaction is concerned, when you cannot keep a simple appointment, when you cannot be part of a simple agreement between two human beings. You say you show up on Tuesday at 3 o'clock and you are not there. I made up my time for that. I planned for that. And even though I might have the whole day off, it doesn't really matter. That's not part of your concern. That's not part of your business. Your business is you have an appointment with me at 3 o'clock on Tuesday, and you are going to be there at 3 o'clock on Tuesday. Otherwise, you can be forgotten about by next one. Little bit different as far as approach is concerned in the United States. We had some home repairs to do due to a leak, a pipe leak, which pushed water through a crack in the foundation. So carpet done and struts done and various sorts of things. So one company responded fairly quick, was connected to our insurance agency that came here within hours, dried it all up. Now it was time to get the other repairs done. Holes in the wall, the flooring, etc., baseboards, paint, and all that. So who to call? We call around companies and we made several appointments, and some people showed up and some people showed up late. And I must say, out of maybe, I wouldn't venture too far out, but I'm comfortable to say that out of 15 appointments, one person showed up on time. And that was quite a challenge to me, and that was quite a realization that at least in this part of the country, people don't seem to be finding it necessary to show up for appointments in time. There was, probably, has to do with a lot of factors, but, I'm just comparing Germany and the United States here as far as that is concerned. That was quite interesting. And also what I find interesting is it is probably, I don't know, I can't say probably, but it seems to be customary at some jobs not to show up after you got your paycheck the very next day. I couldn't understand it for the world. I work in this medium security prison, and every 2 weeks, the shift supervisor, at the shift briefing when you come in, get a shift briefing. This happened. Watch out for this. Watch out for that. Whatever have you. And on a regular basis, um, we get paid, let's say on Friday. You can bet on it. On the very next day, on Saturday, 5 to 10 people are missing for no apparent reason. And I always wondered about that. I wondered about that for years. Well, I mean, not years, but it's certainly, more than a year. And I couldn't explain it to myself. And one day I asked, what is going on here? Why is every time, a time after we get paid, the very next day, 5 to 10 people out of 40, 50 won't show up for work? What is going on here? And they say, well, they get paid, they're doing stuff. Unthinkable. And you get paid because you work there. Why would you risk your job and not get paid anymore? It just didn't compute in my brain. I couldn't understand it, but that's one of the major differences. In Germany, you get paid, simple, and you just come to work. That's one of the major requirements. If you have a job in Germany, you show up for work. If you're dead, you can't. But in all other instances, in all other cases, if it's not a totally screaming emergency, you show up for work. Appointments, put them after work or on your days off, or have half a day off, just enough time to, let the electrician in to fix your electrical problem in your apartment, but then you come to work, that type of thing. Here, well, it's more relaxed for that matter. Another thing, I had my diesel truck was leaking, emissions gas recirculation system, as they call it, EGR, was leaking fluid. So, I looked around and walked around and stuff like that, tried to get it fixed. So I got a quote from the local shop for, whatever it was, $7,000. And I go, wow. So and then I made some research for myself and find that, a particular part was faulty, and there is a very commonly used remedy for that. Buy the part from that company, they give you a lifetime warranty, and you won't have that same problem coming up again and again. Yet the repair shop said they're not going to do that. They don't even recommend it, and they don't care about it. They're going to use a genuine blah part. And I said, well, I'm going to have the same problem 10,000, 14, whatever miles down the road again. So why not? You said, no, we can't do that. We're not doing it. So I went to the specialty shop who was certified installing that aftermarket part, and be happy with it, and that cost half the money. So that's another, factor of customer service. Why not serve your customer so he comes back and recommending also your shop? I can't recommend that shop now because they want to, screw me over as far as the part is concerned and as far as the costs are concerned. If I paid them $7,000 to install the same part, which is going to have the same problem later down the road, or pay the other shop half and install the aftermarket part, which has a warranty, not to do the same mess up the original part does. Very simple. But yet they insisted on not doing their best for their customers. And then another thing, when we got here, we rented a house, and we lived in this house for 2.5 years. We never had been late on any rent payment, even a day. Well, it happens to be one day we were late, I think 2 or 3 days, whatever not, okay? So after 2.5 years, well, 2 years living in that house, okay? In Germany, okay, you're late for 2 to 3 weeks. Your landlord, might give you a phone call or, stop by if he's around, if he lives nearby or has his company to take care of the house, stop by or call you, whatever have you, But 2 weeks easily go down the road, maybe even 3 weeks. You might get a letter or a phone call or a short visit, Hey, Mr. Welter, what's going on here, blah, blah, blah. But yet here, compare that, as I compare customer service, the rental company who rents the house out to us puts a note on our house, on our door. Pay within blah, or we will evict you. And that's just mind-boggling to me. Why would you evict or even threaten to evict a renter who for 2 years gives you $850 every month? And by the time the note was on the door, it was already, paid, but it didn't show up wherever it was supposed to show up. So we call there totally enraged because that's unheard of to us. And the guy, the woman says, well, that's common practice. We always do that. So you're telling me you don't make no differences between somebody who always has problem paying his rent and you always needed to be reminded paying rent on time and you always have to follow up on the person, blah, blah, blah. And somebody who pays 2 years straight, 24 months without any problem on time or before. They don't, obviously. They obviously do not make any difference. Another example on the same line, we get newspapers delivered, okay? I forgot the name of the newspaper, but I had magazines and newspapers delivered to my door in Germany too. So how that works in Germany is as follows, okay? The guy who delivers the paper or the magazines either finds you at home or he doesn't find you at home. He has different types of, different times when he comes and delivers this paper. Okay, but as long as he knows you're gonna pay, he's all good. He might come back a week later and tell you, oh, I haven't found you at home because you're working, obviously, okay? I'm to pay him for his magazines and newspaper. I haven't found you at home and I need my money. And it's not a big rush, but let me know when I can come by and pick up the money. And I go, okay, no problem. You know where I live. Not a big deal. And that goes over for years. Sometimes I'm at home, or sometimes when he comes, I'm not at home. He knows that I'm not at home because I have a regular work schedule. Yet he just feels it's convenient for him to deliver that magazine at this particular time. He knows I'm not there, so he comes back a week or two later or a month later and tells me blah blah blah. Whatever might be the deal. But he knows me. I'm always paying, and he can always find me at one point in time. It's a mutual thing. He gets the money, I get my magazine. Here yet, we get our newspaper delivered. A guy who took over the route, I must say, we had a woman deliver the newspaper before, and she had no problem meeting us on our time schedule. We both work, so obviously we can't be here, let's say, generally speaking, Tuesday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We both are at our jobs until 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever have you. So he knows, or she knew, the lady who delivered the newspaper at the beginning knows when to find us. So she came around 7 o'clock in the evenings to pick up her money. Fair and square. That's how you do it. The other guy who took over the route for whatever reason comes for 1 week, picks up his money the first week in the evening, picks up his next money a week later, same time. Yet the third week, I think it was, he apparently came in an, for us, inconvenient time. So he left a note. Get this. He left a note on the door saying, if you don't pay within 48 hours, I'm gonna cancel your route contract, whatever it said. Get this, we had been getting this newspaper for a year and a half. By that time, we got this note, and after a year and a half, paying on time, getting the money, having no problem, meeting up somewhat between his or her schedule and our schedule, and that was just how it went down. Yet he seems necessary after a year and a half to leave us a note. If you don't pay within 48 hours, we are done. He's gonna cancel our route or our delivery, whatever. And that is just unheard of. I mean, on some of these cases, we are just stunned. It just does not make any sense. He knew very well, we both work, he knew our schedules, he knew when we are going to be there. I don't know if he had a replacement worker at that day, or what was the deal? But we called the newspaper, and of course they said, well, we contracted the routes out to, certain contractors who deliver the newspaper to you, so nothing we can really do about it. Okay, so we had to cancel. I mean, what do you want us to do? Getting a newspaper for a year and a half, all of a sudden, if you don't pay within 48 hours, we are going to cancel. That is just stupid beyond belief. But that's how customer service is somehow handled here sometimes. I had the impression, I don't know, because of documentaries I saw about the United States, or maybe it was because the stores in the States some of them are open 24/7. That was a big thing for us in Europe, that there is stores in America which are open 24/7. Unheard of back in the days when I lived in Germany. They kind of came up, the opening and closing time got more left over to the corporations themselves now in Germany too. So now you have 24/7 shops open too, but it doesn't used to be the way. What it used to be is 6 o'clock, boom, gone. Sunday, no, nothing is open except some gas station stores and stuff like that. But other than that, that was the rule. Nowadays, they kind of more adapted to more customer service and more to the international customer, if you want to call it like that. And they have longer opening hours. But here in America, it was always like that, as far as I always heard in Europe. So we kind of looked at America as the king of customer service. That's why I was so shocked in people you call and make appointments with don't show up 2 hours late and stuff like that. We weren't accustomed to that at all. As I say, if you make an appointment in Germany, you make that appointment. And there is no good reason, unless somebody dies or you have a screaming hell emergency, that you cannot keep that appointment. It is just a way of living, okay? And us being so accustomed to that, particularly me, my wife didn't live in Germany for that long, but she got accustomed to that too, because it's very satisfying customer experience. But for me, it's just a way of life. Also, you go to work on time, you finish work on time, you don't go home early, you come in time in the morning, even though if your boss is not there, it doesn't matter. If you are trusted with a job, you are trusted to be there on time and leave on time and stuff like that. So that was quite an interesting experience. So basically, customer service being the tip of the iceberg in America was destroyed in a fairly quick manner when I moved here, and that was that was a very interesting realization, because, as I say, coming from Germany, I expected the customer service to be flawless, to be super friendly, super flawless, super professional, and only to find out here where I live that it's unfortunately none of that. So the chapter is called Customer Service, and that's about me realizing that my initial idea about the level of customer service here is not what it is. It is actually, compared to Germany, quite a different world. If you make an appointment over there with a repair serviceman of any sort of kind, he's going to be there. You don't have to really worry about it. That's kind of part of the, I don't know, culture, or more of an expectation. Like you are expected to keep your appointment no matter what. It's a very, very bad thing if you make an appointment and then not show up. Similar if you come to work, or anything really. You make an appointment, you cannot be lax about it. You are going to be there on time every time. So that's quite of a difference. I just want to comment on it because I needed to really get adjusted to it, and that is so much for American experience. By Martin Boat. If you want to read up on it, page 62. Thank you.